another tutorial with you. This is Starberry Jam. What's funny about this quilt is I almost didn't publish this pattern, and I can't even remember why, but I had made it and then it sat for a while and then I published it, and I'm so glad I did because it is really a popular pattern for me. I've seen it made in all sorts of ways. It's really pretty simple. The hardest, most difficult part is just the small hourglass blocks for that little Ohio star, but the rest of it is just strip piecing because it is a jelly roll friendly quilt. You do need some extra yardage for those star points. I didn't want to like do weird templates or anything for that. The bulk of the block is really simple. This one that I made behind me is the very first sample, really the only sample I've personally made. And it was made with a Christmas line. Actually, you just can't really tell, and that's what I loved about it. But it was called Starberry from Three Sisters of Moda, and I just loved the warm colors and all of that. It does kind of look like these were planned when I made it, and I think I obviously did that when I made it, but you don't have to do that in the pattern. And in fact, in the pattern is a coloring sheet. So if you wanted to plan it, you could with your jelly roll options, or if you just wanted to cut yardage or however you wanted to do that. But it looks really great as a random one to use your jelly rolls, so you don't have to worry about that. I honestly want to make another sample just using low volumes and then make those stars very colorful, because I don't know, there's something about low volume prints that I really love. So hopefully one day I'll do my own design of low volume, but let's get started on our progress here. So the very first thing that we're going to do is sew our jelly roll strips together, and you'll just want to go through and separate them into groups of 3 and then sew all of those strips together. I decided for my demo blocks for this quilt that I would do red, white, and blue, because actually when I opened this file, the very first, when I designed this, the colorway that I did was red, white, and blue, because I thought it would make a good patriotic quilt. So I just thought I would go ahead and cut up some of my red, white, and blue strips, because you know I can always use a few patriotic blocks, because I'm always, you know, making a quilted valor for someone or something, and these blocks never go to waste. I should really think about making all of my demonstration blocks in red, white, and blue if I come to think about that. But anyway, okay, so you'll do that, and then you're going to cut a rectangle piece and a square from those strips. Each block that you make contains the little star, this square block, and then a rectangle block. So after you get those done, you just cut enough for the pattern, and then we'll start the star blocks, and those are pretty simple. You have your center piece of the star right there. So I have my star center, and then these are the corner stones of the star. Here, 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 and here. And you can mix those up. This is just my sample. And I have some of my hourglass blocks made, which are the star points. And I'm gonna go through that process with you of how we make those, starting with the half square triangle. And you can see that I've marked my line, and then I'm going to sew on either side of that blue line. And then after we make both of those seams, we're going to cut on that blue line. So let's get started. And when I do my patterns, I tend to always just use the regular math for half square triangles, because that's how I learned. The math is easy for me. And so they're just like very basic instructions. If you have a special tool or way that you like to make your half square triangles, feel free to use that. That way you can trim them down or take those necessary steps that make you feel more comfortable. I just tend to do them the old-fashioned way and let the chips fall where they may. So I'm going to go ahead and press these open. Okay, and now I have 2 half square triangles, and I'm going to lay those on top of each other on opposite sides, and then you can either mark this and do the same exact technique. I don't have my blue marking pen, so I'm just going to use this pencil. I really like my blue marking pen because it always comes out. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just do the same process and sew on either side of that line. Okay, now I'm going to cut that on that line, which should yield me 2 hourglass blocks. Voila! And I'm going to press those open. Now I'm just going to cut those little points off. Okay, now we can start assembling our block here. I have my, make sure I'm facing this the right way. Sometimes tone on tone is hard to tell, right? And then we have our hourglass blocks. Hourglass blocks are like my favorite to design with, hourglass and half square triangles. That's like the whole thing of a quilter, right? Okay, so now we can start assembling this block and putting it together. Okay, now I'm going to press these. So if I press the middle one to the middle square and then press these to the outer, then we will be able to have nesting seams. And you can always pin if you feel more comfortable with that. I know they're little squares. Okay, now I'm going to add the top row. now we have this cute little star. Isn't that adorable? Okay, now we can put our block together. So this is how the block goes. Well, I think sometimes it rotates where the star lays. No, actually it doesn't. We just turn the block so it actually goes like this. So then that way you can decide if you want the red or the blue or however to go. So I think I'm going to go like this. So I'll sew these two together. We'll press that. And then we're going to go ahead and sew these two together. Okay, now we'll press that open. And here is our finished block. So isn't that amazing? I just think the simplest ideas are sometimes the most beautiful. I mean, I feel like that. It's simple color palette, it's a simple block, but it's very traditional with that star, and it just speaks to a lot of different colorways and color options, and that's where you can really be creative and make it your own. So again, this is Starberry Jam. It's available at charismascorner.com, and several shops have this pattern. It's so great for a jelly roll. It uses 42 strips of jelly rolls, and then so basically one jelly roll, a little bit more, and a little bit of yardage for binding and the stars. So I hope you had a great time today. I hope you learned something, or you know, you just saw something new that inspired you in some way. So have a great day. Bye.